Hello, everyone. Welcome to the When It Worked podcast. You're with host Julian Leahy. Today, I'm joined by the fantastic Rachel Friedman, Brandon, Gano, and... Sorry, I forgot your name. Michael. Michael, what's your surname?
Michael Fleischner.
Michael Fleischner. There we go. I was going to say Friedman, but we've already had Friedman. All right, now we're going to play Jeopardy, and then we're going to learn about our fantastic guests. And I can't wait to get into it because that was a bit of a painful setup, but you don't want to hear about that. Let's go. All right, we're just going to pick the game, and then we're good to go. And the categories today are quotes, religion, 12-letter words, berry, interesting, all about bears, fruits and vegetables, islands, and Brandon, you can kick things off being on the left.
A lot of pressure here. I don't even know if I could spell a 12-letter word, so we're going to avoid that one.
Yeah.
Let's go with fruits and vegetables to be safe.
For
100.
100, okay. Root vegetable that was the root of Peter Rabbit's passion. Jump in if you know the answer.
Carrots.
Gotta be. Brandon, what do rabbits eat?
You know what? It stumped me for a minute, but yeah,
Yeah,
carrots
yeah.
makes complete sense.
Carrots.
All right.
We got you, man. It's all good.
Michael, you have got control. Well done. What would you like?
Oh, goodness. Let's go with quotes for 100.
Quotes for 100. Dorothy Parker said, "Men seldom make passes at girls who do this." This is a very old-fashioned quote. Dorothy Parker said, "Men seldom make passes at girls who do this."
No idea.
It is ladies who wear glasses, and I got to say that's not true. Not from personal experience necessarily. Continuing on, Michael, you're still in control.
Let's go with 12-letter words for 100.
12-letter words for 100, feeling brave. You can get a niche at a Jewish one and a mozzarella at an Italian one.
What is a deli?
A deli.
And can we just have the 12-letter version?
Delicatessen.
Yes.
Michael, you just got in there both on the deli and the delicatessen. You're still in control?
This is fun. Let's try another 12-letter word
Oh, he's
for
feeling
200.
brave. This could be a mistake. From Latin for repentance, San Quentin, for example.
What is penitentiary?
Well done. Both of you got that. Michael just pipped you at the post again. Well done. You're in control, Michael. What would you like?
Let's try fruits and vegetables for 200.
Fruits and vegetables for 200. Europeans once believed this purple-skinned cousin of the tomato caused insanity.
What is an eggplant?
Eggplant is correct. Still in control. Doing very well, Michael.
All right, let's push our luck. Fruits and vegetables for 300.
Fruits and veggies 300. Syrup originally made from pomegranates processed on the Caribbean island of Grenada.
What is...
You mix it with spirits, I think.
Spirit.
Absinthe?
Grenadine?
There we go, Brandon. Firing from the left wing. Well done. You're back. You've redeemed yourself. And you're in control.
Let's stick with fruits and vegetables for 4.
Fruits and veggies 400. The hospitality fruit. It can keep Jell-O from gelling. That's weird. Hospitality fruit. What does that mean?
What is a lemon?
Let's take a look. I like the logic of that, thinking the acid. It's actually pineapple.
Apple.
Still in control, Brandon.
Finish off fruits and veggies.
As my mum would say. Autumn edible, which figured in the Elga Hiss case. Autumn edible, fruit and vegetable.
What is a pumpkin?
Let's take a look, Michael. It is correct. Well done. Back and forth. Don't worry. Everyone will get a turn.
Let's try another 12-letter word for 300.
12-letter word for 300 before 1934. The date for this was March 4. After 1934, January 20. 12-letter word. It's got to be a holiday.
Yeah.
January 20. What do you do on January 20 in the United States?
President's
Day.
Day? President's Day?
Let's take a look. It is inauguration. Oh, that's about President's Day, isn't it? What do you reckon?
Yeah, give it to her.
Let's give it to her. All right, you're in control now.
Let's do quotes for 200.
Quotes for 200, Rachel says. Emerson said, if a man makes a better one of these, the world will beat a path to his door.
World? Makes a better world?
Have you ever heard the expression, you can't build a better
Mousetrap.
mousetrap?
Ah.
Is correct. Now, that's amazing that question was in there. Never mind, but you are in control now. Michael.
Let's do quotes for 300.
Quotes for 300. The doctor can bury his mistakes, but we can only advise clients to plant vines, said this architect. Famous architect. Who knows how far back they want to go with this quote. I mean, it could be old Leonardo for all we know. Let's take a look. It is, in tiny font, Frank Lloyd Wright. Now, what did he do? The Guggenheim or something?
He had a very unique style
Yeah.
of architect, for sure.
Do you know which building he did? I don't know either. This, George Costanza did the one down the road from the Guggenheim. I remember that. All right, continuing on. You're in control, Michael.
Let's try religion for 100.
Religion for 100. In 1964, Pope Paul VI formally exonerated this group of blame for the death of Jesus.
Who are the Jews?
It is correct. Well done, Michael.
Hmm. Let's try religion for 200.
Religion for 200. It's what the PTL in TV's PTL club stands for. Now, I'm not sure if this is still on television. You know, when you get up in Australia, we get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and we have all these American evangelical programs. That's the only reason I know it. I must admit to laughing at them.
Yeah, I do not know.
It is Praise the Lord.
Oh. Now that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And you know, they get people on and they put their hands on them and all that stuff. It's fantastic. All right, you're still in control, Michael.
Let's do islands for 100.
Islands for 100. Papillon, I believe it's pronounced. The French butterfly was netted and brought to this prison. There was a movie with Dustin Hoffman. But what was the prison called?
I would say Alcatraz.
Yeah, good guess. Let's take a look. It is something else. Devil's
San
Island.
Quentin?
Devil's Island. Anyone get that? I think it might even be out somewhere. I don't think it was in the States. All right, Michael, we're still in control.
All right, let's do religion for 300.
Religion for 300. Well-known nickname for Siddhartha Gautama. Sounds like an Indian person.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
The Dalai Lama?
good guess. I liked it. It's pretty logical. I'll give you a clue. Your mum might have a chubby-looking one sitting in the garden.
Oh, what is the Buddha?
All right, I think Rachel's got that one. Let's take a look. Buddha is correct.
I think you're
Well
right.
done.
Nice.
Rachel, you're in control.
I'm probably gonna have no clue, but we'll just go with very interesting for $100.
Very interesting. In song, Davy Crockett was said to have kilt him a bar when he was only this age? Some sort of bear. Davy Crockett was a man. You remember that show? Only on the reruns, of course.
What is 9 years old? Taking a guess.
3. Oh, find that a bit hard to believe, unless it was
Not
a
even
koala
close.
bear. All right, still in control. I think Rachel. Was it Michael? Who's in control?
No, Rachel's got it.
Rachel.
All right, let's go with very interesting for 200.
Very interesting. The original Smokey the Bear became a popular attraction at this city's zoo.
I'm gonna say, was it in Washington
Rachel,
State?
you are incredible. Oh, we said Washington State, but I'm going to give it to you anyway
Oh,
because you said Washington.
Yeah.
All right, Rachel, you're in control.
Okay.
I just said it was perfect, and then you said that state bit, and I went, ooh.
oh, oops.
Yeah.
We'll go with the 12-letter word for 400.
12-letter word, 400. Famous a cappella singing group from Yale. Can't be too famous from the looks of our contestants. I got to admit, I'd never heard of them. They are called the Whiffenpoofs. Now, that's a bit of a slur in Australia, so you wouldn't want to say that. All right, Rachel, still in control.
Let's go. What's the island for 200?
Islands for 200. A cloud of ash circled the Earth when most of this volcanic island was obliterated in an 1883.
What is Pompeii?
Let's take a look. Krakatoa. It was the other big one.
Oh.
Rachel, still in control.
We'll go with island for 300.
Island for 300. Spanish for pelican, but appropriately called the rock by its inhabitants, Brandon.
I got no idea.
You do, Brandon.
Is that the answer? No
you
idea?
do, Brandon. You do have an idea.
Oh, Alcatraz.
Let's take a look, Brandon. Well done. I needed a few nudges there. You got it.
I need a couple of nudges. I'm reading these questions like, where are these coming from? That's okay. I've been out of my house before, I swear.
All right, you're in control now, so over to you.
Oh, man. Let's continue with islands for 4.
Islands for 400. First to claim California gold said he found it on this island named for Saint Catherine. Also famous for a wine mixer in Step Brothers, I think. I'm guessing.
Catalina.
Is that in California? Because that's what I was thinking.
Pretty sure.
What's it say? Santa Catalina, the Catalina effing wine mixer.
Nice.
Do you remember that? Sorry, you probably watch more intellectual movies than I do. Michael, Brandon, you're in control.
Let's finish out islands for 5.
Islands for 500. Port Udall in this island group is called the easternmost American point in the Western Hemisphere. Easternmost American point. It's an island group.
The Virgin Islands?
Let's take a look. Virgin Islands is correct. Was that Brandon?
Oh, nice.
Brandon, the dark horse, is on 1,500 points out of nowhere. Rachel's on 800.
All right, let's
Michael's
do,
on 1,400.
Let's go back to religion for 4.
Religion for 400. North American Protestant group featured in the movie Witness.
Who are the Amish?
The Amish or Amish. Well done. I was going to talk about Weird Al there, but that would be too obvious.
Let's go with religion for 500.
Religion for 500. Prayer taken from Salutation of Gabriel. It's now said as commonly as the Lord's Prayer. It's a prayer.
Our Father?
Second most. Well, that is the Lord's Prayer, isn't it? Our Father. What's the second most popular one? Non-Christians might struggle with this one. Lapsed Christians won't. Okay. I know this one because I went to Catholic school. Hail Mary! It's also, I could have said an NFL last hope pass or something. All right, who's in control now?
Let's go with very interesting for 300.
Very interesting for 300. The constellation Ursa Major, meaning the Great Bear, is better known by this name. It's a bear, one of those constellations in the sky.
Do not know my astrology.
No, all I know is the Big Dipper. We've got the Southern Cross because we can see that from Australia. That's all I can remember. But then you got all of those star sign ones like Scorpios and all those. They're all supposedly up there. Not that they can predict the future. Anyway, let's take a look. It is the Big Dipper. That was one of the only ones I know. All right. Continuing on, we've got 5 questions left.
Let's try 12-letter words, 500. Clear out this category.
That's a bit scary. 12-letter words, 500 from Latin for bend the knees, not cry of a ski instructor, but the act of showing reverence. 12-letter word for showing reverence. It means bend the knee. What do you do? Oh, this is another one if you went to Catholic school. When you go to the prayer room and you got to... Have you seen Christians when they go up to the pew and starts with
Repentance?
a G? Starts with a G. I think. I'm going to say genuflect. I think that's what it says. Genuflection. Yes, that's right. I'm sounding like Mr. Christian over here. It's just not true. Continuing on.
All right, team, we got to get another one here. Let's try quotes for 400.
Quotes for 400. Completes the quote, "Go west, young man." And the Pet Shop Boys said this, but somebody said it
And
about...
prosper.
Pretty much.
Western.
But I think that was more Leonard Nimoy or Howard, what's his name? Guy from Star Trek. Grow up with the country. So when they were trying to get people to move out to California, I think that was the slogan. All right, continuing on.
All right, Julian, let's close out quotes for 500.
Reading is to the mind as this is to the body.
Movement.
I'm going to accept movement or exercise. Let's take a look. And it says in tiny font, exercise. Well done,
Nice.
Rachel. Don't count Rachel
I guess
out.
we're going with
You're right.
very interesting for 400.
Very interesting. Bear who was featured in an exercise book with drawings by Ernest Shepard.
Who is a Berenstain Bear?
Anyone else can have a guess? Another famous bear. And he had a friend who was a donkey.
Pooh.
Could you please not use it? Oh, sorry, yes. That is correct. Winnie the Pooh. Well done, Brandon. 1 question left.
Nice.
500 points.
Let's do it.
Here we go. Yeah, I've got to click it. Sorry. 2023 movie about a rampaging bear powered by an illicit substance.
What is Cocaine Bear?
Is correct. Well done, Michael. Let's have a look. Final scores. Brandon on 1900, Rachel on 1300, Michael on 2300. Let's have a round of applause for our fantastic guests. That was a great game. Lots of fun. All right, let's wrap that up. Awesome. All right, now, Brandon, we talked about you before the break. Tell us a little bit about your business. What is it, and who are you helping, and why are you doing so?
Yeah, we have a fractional COO company, so we help business owners who have scaled past the 7-figure mark but are a little stuck and want to keep going. So we help them get their time back, get out of the way, and then continue to grow their business. I just love helping small business owners.
What's a
it's so much
fractional
fun to do with it.
COO? What's a COO
So
first
instead
of
of-
all, and then what's a fractional one?
Yeah, COO is basically one step down from the CEO. They're in charge of taking the CEO's vision and making it actually happen. So fractional just means we don't work with any one company. We have a bunch of different clients, and we spend a couple hours here, a couple hours there. Saves them a lot of money, and gives us the flexibility to help 20 clients at a time.
Yeah, these fractional, professionals are very interesting, and I guess the benefit is that it allows you to grow with an idea that might take off. It might not take off. If it does take off, you're not going to have a guy COO, from the beginning on staff. What are some of the benefits or the reasons people should look at doing something like this?
To hiring a fractional
Yeah.
or being one?
Yeah.
Hiring one,
Yeah.
it gives you, so we have a number of fractional professionals in our company, and you get the knowledge, experience, and wisdom, we'll say, from people who have been doing this for 10, 15, 25 years in your small business for a fraction of the cost. So instead of investing $250,000 a year, $1 million a year in one of these people, you get it for a couple $1,000s a month, but you still get all of that knowledge. So it saves you a ton of time and a ton of money at the same time.
Yeah, awesome. And what type of businesses? You did mention it briefly. Can you give us some examples of where you would be at? I mean, how many staff do these companies have that work with you, etc., and what type of businesses mostly?
We are industry agnostic, so we've served a bunch of different businesses, from virtual telehealth to real estate, all over the map, insurance agencies, and they're typically in the 1 to 5 million revenue range and about 5 to 50 employees. That's our sweet spot.
Awesome. And what's involved if somebody decides that they need help? What are some of the problems they would be experiencing that would be a symptom of them needing your help?
Running around like a chicken with your head cut off. That's pretty normal symptom. If you feel like you're fighting fires and just managing chaos, it's time to look at hiring some outside help.
Do you find it's the guys that are or gals that are sort of in charge of everything, and they're having to do everything? They don't have the roles delegated. They don't have the manuals written to help with all the processes. Is that kind of part of it, just getting that separation from the business for the CEO?
Yeah, it's usually the people who they have a passion for the business or the industry. That's why they started it. They've grown it to the 7-figure mark, and when you cross that line, you really shift from being a doer to a leader. And not everybody makes that shift really well. So, to no fault of their own, they still love what they do, but you just need a little bit of help to build a company structure that is scalable and doesn't rely on one individual person.
Do you find that people have a bit of fear about giving up the reins to a lot of stuff in the business?
No, it comes with the assurance that if you build out the business structure, the systems and the processes the right way, it really doesn't matter who's in charge of them. So even if you hate your staff, which never happens, but for example, if you hated your staff, if the structure is there, it will run without any one person in charge. So that's what we look to do, is say, hey, you can outsource this to someone you found off the street, realistically, in most cases, and that kind of eases the pressure.
And do people ask to see, what's involved? Do you give them examples? Are there any examples you can give of where you've come in, somebody's just about to lose it, and you've been able to implement stuff, and what you did implement, if you can even answer that question?
Yeah, I can give you a quick one. A client most recently achieved just a new level of her own success, which we thought was really cool, after working with her for about 8 months. So when we started with her, it was exactly what I described: chaos, over 50 employees, and it was just managing people and problems all of the time. The finances were all over the place. So the first thing we did was just set the business on a clear path. Everybody knew where they were going. Which was another common problem. People are just operating day by day. They don't really have a vision for the future. So we got that established. Then we worked on the SOPs, the processes, and what the business does, how they do it. And after 7 or so months of working together, her workload was cut in half. And she's now doing almost nothing from running the business day to day. She's outsourced that entirely to her team. So it's been a really, really cool story. And she's back in love with her business, and it's set to double within the next 6 to 8 months.
Awesome. Well, if that sounds like you and you want to get in touch with Brandon, what if, and you could do the 8-minute assessment, and then Brandon, will you have a chat to the people?
Absolutely. I can't spell 12-letter words, but happy to help you grow your business. So yeah, take that assessment, and then we'll see what it says on the other side.
Awesome. Well, thanks very much, Brandon, for coming on and playing and sharing some of that wonderful information. All right, let's change speeds a little bit. Rachel, once you've handed over the business to Brandon, you can start getting a bit healthier. Tell us a bit about what you're doing. What is how can business be related to yoga, and what are some of the things you're doing with somatic yoga?
Yeah, so I actually have two businesses. So I have a brick and mortar, a yoga studio local to my house here in Atlanta, Georgia. And then I also help other yoga teachers and studio owners grow and scale their businesses using yogic philosophy, using yogic mindset, and being able to stay 100% in line with why they got into the practice in the first place. So often, go into entrepreneurship because we're passionate about something, right? And then, especially as a yogi, often a lot of yoga teachers do not, and studio owners don't have any business background.
Mm.
And so they really struggle with trying to figure out how they can stay in line with the values that they have from what they've learned as a yogi, but then also grow a business.
Yeah,
And I
that's
believe you can do both.
yeah, that's the interesting part is people go into opening a yoga studio because they love yoga, and then you sort of help them with the business side of things. And what are some of the keys to growing a yoga business?
There's a few. I would say first and foremost, it is in a world, at least here in the States now, where there are a lot, a lot of studios, and not just yoga, because when you're opening a yoga studio, for example, you're actually also, you could say, in competition with anyone in the fitness industry. I could go on and on why yoga is better and different, but that doesn't matter to the average consumer. They're picking amongst all of the options that are out there. So I would say first and foremost is figuring out who you are, your brand, and what makes you authentic and unique. And it's really refining, um, picking, you could say, a niche in the industry. Because if you go out there and you're like, I can just do all these different types and I can offer everything to everyone, I really think you lose. You're talking to everyone instead of just a person.
Yeah, sounds good. So niching down on what you're offering, and what about people? Do you ever talk to anyone that's been able to open up multiple studios and run them successfully? What are some of the things that you need
Yeah.
to know to do that?
Yeah, I mean, myself, but yes, other people too. So I think one of the things, in order to do it successfully, is that you have to expand your team then. You can only be in one place at one time and doing so many things. And it's really important that when you go to expand your team, that you align yourself with people that have the same values, and have a passion for the practice, but also are willing and open to learn, I would say, the other sides of the business. Because, anyone, I'm sure all you guys know, anyone who has a business knows that, like, you can be really passionate about something, but it only goes so far.
Yeah,
So
100%.
when you are going to scale beyond one studio, it's really important that you have a team supporting you. Otherwise, you will drown.
Interesting. Hey, Rachel, has anybody in the United States successfully invented a yoga franchise yet?
Oh, yeah, there's several of
Oh, there
them.
are? Okay, because we don't have them down
Yeah.
here, but I thought there's definitely a market there for it. But whether you want to go to a franchise or not, it's a bit like McDonald's, I suppose. But
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on yoga franchises? Mac Yoga?
I actually, yeah. See, it's interesting. Most of the yoga franchises that like Core Power Yoga is basically a franchise. And some people love it. I do not. I think you lose a lot of the heart and the soul of what goes behind a studio. It becomes very corporate like.
Mm.
And what I have found to make most studios successful, yes, you have to have marketing and sales and all these things, but that heart and soul underneath it, the community is really what makes people coming back for more. It makes them repeat clients. It makes them not necessarily leave you and go to somewhere down the street. And I think you lose that piece in that model, in my opinion.
Yes, and then you've got to, compete on price if you're in that franchise system, and you don't really. You
Yeah.
can sort of you can be a premium service if you've got something that's a bit different. Which, why would you want to be competing on price?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, if
No
anybody's
way.
interested in yoga and more importantly starting a yoga business, I think it's a great idea because I think yoga is probably one of the best things I've ever done in terms of going to do exercise, which I don't do a lot of anymore, unfortunately. But it's a fantastic thing to do. And if you're in the business and you want to learn how to grow a successful yoga business, have a chat with Rachel. And I've got your details there. They'll all be in the show notes for all of our guests if you want to follow up and have a chat with them. Thanks, Rachel Friedman.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Now, we're going to talk about the Freelancer Training Academy, which is quite exciting, I think, to me. Michael Fleischner. Now, for those people that don't know, what is a freelancer? What are some of the industries that have a lot of freelancers, and why do they need to go to a training academy? Which I think they do probably, but you can tell us.
Yeah, well, Julian, freelancing is not new. It's been around a long time. Obviously, it accelerated during the pandemic. And I actually did a TEDx talking about my own journey from corporate America into freelancing. And now that corporations are asking a lot of people to come back to the office, there are a lot of individuals who are saying, maybe I don't want to work for a corporation because it's really going to impact my flexibility, my freedom, my ability to ultimately follow my passion. So what we do is we work with a lot of individuals who are either working full-time currently or maybe part-time and thinking about transitioning to doing their own thing, whether it's consulting, whether it's running their own business, or ultimately following a passion. So my full-time company is called Big Fin SEO. We're a digital marketing agency, and the agency is run entirely by freelancers. No one on my team is a full-time employee. We are all out there kind of hanging our shingle on delivering value and services to clients and realizing, at least in our opinion, there's a better way than going into an office, working from 9 to 5, only having a few hours of productivity and just sticking around because that's what it takes to get a paycheck. So the Freelance Training Academy is really this idea of building community around all the people who are either doing this or who want to do this and are thinking about starting, growing, or scaling their own freelance business. And for me, in my journey, freelancing not only allowed me to start my own company, but it allowed me to do many other things, from podcasting to writing books to being involved in different types of investments. So for those people who need variety, who are feeling unfulfilled in their work, freelancing is just a great option.
Now, Michael, I reckon a lot of people would say to you, hey, Michael, that sounds great, but I've got a mortgage. How am I going to pull this off and do freelancing? And how am I going to get enough work? And how am I going to get clients? How do you answer some of those questions?
Yeah, all great questions. And this is one of the things we talk about in the Freelance Training Academy and another program I'm launching, which is the idea of crawl, walk, run. And it's very easy for us today to get caught up in our Insta feed and see all these people driving Lamborghinis and Ferraris saying, oh, I quit my job and I started doing X, whatever the latest, scheme is, and I made all this money. The reality is at least again, kind of reflecting on my own journey and what we teach in the program, we start with the idea of crawl, walk, run. And you can't just run, you have to crawl first. And for some people, that most people actually, that means keeping your full-time job, keeping your day job, and starting to kind of follow your passion on the side, and then ultimately use that experience to acquire more clients, to build up a specific offer, to get clear on the services that you can provide and at what cost. And then obviously, as we start to crawl and walk, there's marketing strategies, sales strategies, ways to start to acquire customers that you can service either individually or by leveraging some of the things that, even Brandon was talking about, outsourcing and finding those strategies that are ultimately going to get you to the point where you're earning the same or more perhaps than you are in your full-time job. So the transition becomes much easier.
Yes, so everything is crawl first, walk then run. Unfortunately, people want the shiny instant Lamborghini.
That's right.
And so people sell that to them even though it's not real, which really drives me crazy. Now, what types of roles and skill sets are most able to make this transition into freelancing in your experience?
Yeah, it's interesting because I've worked with thousands of people, and I feel like the one consistent in terms of who is able to make the transition and who is not is the idea of grit and scrappiness. So if you're someone who likes all the ducks in a row and, if it's kind of not in your lane, you're just really not going to pay attention to it or work to learn or develop, you probably won't make it as a freelancer, because being a freelancer, it's a unique journey for everyone. The only consistent, aspect of freelancing is that you got to get yourself up and you have to continue moving forward to realize your vision. So if you're not self-motivated, if you're not really interested in learning new skills or developing yourself, chances are this is not for you. But the people who succeed, maybe they're photographers or they want to start a dog walking business. Well, if they're really passionate about that and they want to bring that gift to the world, much like, Rachel was talking with yoga studios, right? It's an authentic representation of themselves and they want to put that out there and really share that with others. They tend to succeed more often than not, and pretty consistently. So if people are passionate about, again, kind of bringing their gift to the world, they can learn the how. That's what we teach. But you can't replace that drive or that passion that someone would bring to the table.
Yes, there's all sorts of uncomfortable situations and things that you need to learn and challenges that you come up against. And some people go, "Oh shit, I've got to do this," and then they do it. Other people go, "Yeah, it's too much," and it's not necessarily a bad thing if it is too much for you. But if you've got a little bit of grit in you, as all of our guests do, it won't be a problem. And if you want to get into freelancing and you want to make that transition, have a chat to Michael. What happens next if somebody says, "Michael, I'm doing this, I'm working in this job, and I think I want to do this"? What's the first step in terms of
the first step?
You?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, they can Google me. They can definitely reach out via the Freelance Training Academy or follow me on socials. We're actually going to be releasing a new course in the coming weeks, our next cohort of people for the program. So if people are interested, they can definitely get in touch.
That sounds very interesting. So, yes, please do get in touch with any of our guests. Thank you very much for our wonderful guests for coming on. Brandon Gano, Rachel Friedman, and Michael Fleischner. Round of applause for our guests. Thanks, guys. I'm going to wrap things up. See you next